Hi, this is Tanya Denton with Sewing King Sweet, and I'm here today to talk to you about clear block stamping. And so I had posted on my Sewing King Sweet Facebook page about this, and I decided why not give this a whirl and do a video, which I'm terrible about. I'm still new at this. Okay, some of you that may be just with me, brand new to stamping, creating cards, which there are a few of you. I know who you are. This is a Stampin' Up! Trimmer. And we are going to take an 8.5 by 11 basic white thick cardstock, and we're going to turn it horizontal. And we are going to find the 5.5 inch mark. And we've got a trimmer blade and a scoring blade. And I like to come up from the bottom so that the paper is flush. Give it a cut, take it out, or take one out, and then turn it and go to 4 1/4, and then score it. Give it a good score. And then you can take it out, and then if you can see the scored line, I don't know if you can see it, but then it just gives it that crease, and there you go. So simple. Of course, then I also use a bone folder and just give it another crease, okay? I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to be using this stamp, and I haven't even created this card yet. This is first time I'm doing it. Just saying hello from Tasteful Touches. I love this stamp set. Love, love, love it. So glad it got carried over into the new catalog so I can use it. You can just stamp it from the acrylic block, and this is D, the size D. But I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to bring in, and let me pull my mat over. I wish Stampin' Up! Still sold these. Every once in a while, I'll go to the sandbox and say, hey, let's put these back in the catalog. Excuse me. I am a bit raspy today for whatever reason. Allergies. It's been terrible. And of course, ask my husband how his night went last night, if you know what I mean. I have to admit, I'm kind of used to using another device to do this. I won't say what the product is. And I thought, I need to get more familiar with our own Stamparatus by Stampin' Up! And you can buy this grid paper separately. I love this Stamparatus. It makes stamping precise, clear. Oh, it's just wonderful. But I'm going to end up using it to do my stamping, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because I still have to do the clear block stamping. I have to do that first. So I've got to decide what colors I want to use, and then I'll come back. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I decided to use Misty Moonlight, Just Jade, and Bumblebee. These are some rich colors. They can be used for summer, fall, actually anytime, but I was looking at them in kind of a fall way because I did cheat and went ahead and stamped ahead so I could show you what my end result is going to look like. What I had posted on my Sewing King Sweet Facebook page has softer, more subtle colors, I believe, with their block stamping, but their clear block stamping. But that's okay. I mean, you can do anything, and softer colors may be better depending on what you're wanting to achieve. But this is much better looking in person, I have to admit, because usually when you see things like this, it's simple, but yet it's nice looking, in my opinion. But yeah, and so I will say something. If you just stamp on a flat surface, you're going to get a more blotchy look, right? Can you see this? Now I'm going to show you when I stamped again using our stamping mat, look at the difference. Can you see the difference? Okay. I like this one much better using my stamping mat, which is on page 145 in the annual catalog. It's actually called the piercing mat, but I also have another one that I've labeled a piercing mat, and it does have holes all in it from piercing. So I keep that separate, but I also just used the clear block and stamped right onto my Stamparatus. And see how it turned out. It's I think it's very comparable to the piercing mat. It's much better than this one here, which was just done on actually my my cutting mat here, which you can no longer get at Stampin' Up, unfortunately. But I'm going to do it again so you can see me stamp up the clear block, and then we're going to compare the difference, okay? So there we go. Just open this up, slide that back. I've got room to set this here because I have two stamps sitting here. And you can tap, 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 or I tend to kind of lay it down and I can see the color absorbing onto the block, if that makes sense. I want to pull that off and see the coverage. Plus, I think this is a good color so you can see what I'm doing. And I hope that I am in, remember, I am new at this. It's a little unnerving, but hey, I just gotta go with it if I'm ever gonna do something regarding videos. Bear with me, and I hope I don't get my head into them. I can't exactly see what I'm doing here. I'm blind as it is without my glasses. Okay, just firmly press that down and lift up, and as it dries, oh, I got a little blotchy here, but hey, you know, it's not meant to be perfect. And so as the ink dries, the softer it will become as well. So, and we're not going to hang around for it to take effect, but so far I'm liking it as I had stamped on my Stamparatus, because underneath this grid paper is a mat. So basically it's the same as the piercing mat. We'll come back to this, okay? So, oh, and also these two panels that I just stamped, they are actually cut at 5 1/4 by 4 because they're going to get mounted on a solid cardstock, and most likely it's going to be the Misty Moonlight, which you will see an end result of that as well. Okay, let me double check this. I have my stamp in place, so I may be able to just leave it there, but or I could pull it off and resituate it back on. I want some of these branches with the leaves hanging off, and let me check that. I'm looking at just saying in the middle, and of course, although this is lined up really well on my stamp, sometimes you might want to turn it over and look at the grid on the acrylic plate to see how it lines up, to see if you like it. And I'm going to go with it for time's sake, and I need to have my Misty Moonlight. Y'all, and this is just to show y'all how simple Stampin' can be. And also showing you the Stamparatus. I know it's an additional expense in just using, you know, buying the clear block. But, you know, for precise, see, look right here. This is, oh, and I don't even have my magnets on. It comes with 2 magnets, and you certainly do not want them touching because they'll collide and, you know, something disastrous will happen. such as they'll break. But you can order more if you do that. But I've got some washi tape that Stampin' Up! Came out with a while back, and I put those on there. But see how I inked that stamp back up and just re-stamped it, and look. And so, and perhaps you'd like to have it just a little darker. Just give it a slight tap. If you want to kind of breathe on it, which I'm not going to put my head into the camera there. You can huff on a stamp to get it more, to get it moist again if you've let it sit too long. And I'm going to stop right there. Okay, so then I'm going to come in here with, I just have something. We have a Simple Chamois, I forget what it's called, with Stampin' Up, which I do have. It's right there. See that purple? That is a Simple Chamois, and Stampin' Up has it. It's for $8. And but I have, I don't know what you'd call these absorbing things from the auto department at Walmart. But y'all, it's whatever your preference is. I like both depending on what I'm doing, and for what I'm doing right now, I prefer this. I keep it moist, wet, and then look at my cheap container I keep it in. Wet ones, it's empty, and I have an extra one in there. I pop it in there, I put the lid on, and there you go. And then I also soak it in cold water and rinse them out to also keep them from getting a mildew smell. We don't like that, or I don't. Well, nobody does. Okay, where is my other stamp? I set it aside. It is so simple to all of a sudden get lost in what you're doing. Or at least it is for me. My husband tells me that I can lose my focus quicker than anybody. Maybe it comes with age. I don't know. I don't tend to worry about it too much. Okay, I'm going to close that pad. I better close this. And you don't want your stamp pads to dry out. Always make sure those click into place, okay? And then here is my Just Jade. You just simply lift it up, slide it back, and turn it over. Stamp. And you just want to tap it down. You don't want to just press hard, because then you'll have ink just oozing up and around your outer edges of your stamp, which then could possibly leave an outline of the stamp itself, and you don't want that. Okay, I think that's good enough. And so I'm just going to wipe that off real quick. Pull it up, set it over. And then I'm going to show you what else you can do. I'm going to set that aside. Is that I ended up, let me give that a press in my bone folder, is that these metallic pearls, they're silver and gold. And they're on page 143, and these have been carried over all the way from 2019, so I try to keep track of my stuff. And then I use just, well, let me close this. Here, I'll tell you how to make sure you close them, and I don't. Okay, I just take my paper snips, and I just get up under there and lift it, and that's the easiest way for me to do something like that. Also, what's easy for me, much easier, is to work with something that's flat. Oh, and there's one that got away from me. I'm going to put one there. And also go with odd numbers. So we're only doing 3. You could put that down here. I don't know which way I like better. Here or down here. I don't think it really matters, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep with what I had done before. May change it up on my other two. And there you go. I mean, simple. One stamp set. And then 3 ink pads and embellishment. And that is a clean and simple card right there. Okay, well, let's do something with the other 2 panels. And I will be back. Okay, well, I did something with those 2 card panels, and look. Okay, we went from just simple, just 1 piece of cardstock, cut 5.5 by 4 1/4, and I mean 8.5. What am I talking about? I'm getting myself confused. Yeah, 8.5. See, I'm human. Look at me. I'm having to measure. 8.5 by 5.5. Goodness gracious, Tanya. Okay, so then I have panels that's cut at 5 1/4 by 4. So it just leaves a 1/4 inch around, and I adhered this panel onto Bumblebee cardstock. And then I did this one because, you know, with the color of the block. And then I did this one on Midnight Misty Moonlight, excuse me. And it matches the font and just saying hello. And then, of course, I did the gold metallic pearls. And so there you have it. I mean, simple. You could just mass produce these. You could take this same layout or, you know, technique. Just, you can use different blocks, just like this one here. Go back and look at my Sew Ink and Sweet Facebook page at the example that a Stampin' Up! Artist did. And, but anyways, beginners could do this easily. Avid stampers would do this. I mean, sometimes we're short on time. We don't have time to make it, you know, fancy. And anyone who knows me, I love clean and simple, you know. So, and while I have you here, remember about these butterfly dies that I posted about earlier. I mean, that is simple. You do not have to be just an artist, be creative. Look at this one here. I'm grabbing stuff off my shelf here. It's designer series paper, a piece of ribbon, a die cut, stamped with a sentiment, adhered on a solid card base, and there you go. Okay? So if you think that you can't do this, think again. With that being said, be sure to visit my blog at sewinkandsweet.com. Be sure to subscribe so you can get notified via email. And I assure you, your information is secure when you sign up. And be sure to like my Sew Inking Sweet Facebook page. Anyways, y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.